Hey guys, welcome to Whitney's Watchlist. Happy Saturday! If you're looking for something to binge this weekend, then I suggest watching season 3 of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for multiple reasons. If you've never watched the show, which I hope you have, the show was created by Amy Sherman Palladino and has been a hit since 2017. The premise of the show is that there's this young Jewish woman who breaks the mold in comedy and wanting to do her own thing, which was like so undone at that time, which is the late 1950s when the show began, and is trying to make it in this industry as a woman on the cusp of her divorce because her husband just cheated on her. So she's using that material in her comedy, and it kind of just opens up so many doors for her, and the show is amazing and you should watch it. Oh, by the way, I did some research on this show and I did not know that Midge's character is actually based off of Joan Rivers. She wasn't really based off of her for real, but it's just like Joan Rivers was an inspiration to Midge's character, which is kind of amazing. So I was on this article and I'll post a link below to the article I read and also the video that I saw. But when you see Joan Rivers' comedy, who rose in her career in the 1960s, similar to Midge, you really see a lot of similarities. Season 2 ends with Midge getting an opportunity to travel and open up for Shy Baldwin. So this is a really huge moment for her, and it changes everything because season 2 ended with her having this like amazing love affair with this amazing doctor, and it really could have been a come up from her ex, but she decided to put herself first in her career and went on the road. So season 3 opens with Midge pre-Vietnam War opening up for a group of soldiers just to kind of prep for the tour, right before going on tour with Shy Baldwin. I think what makes this season so exciting is that we really get to see Midge out of New York a lot. We kind of get opened up to a lot of new settings, and we kind of get to see Midge explore more outside of New York. And she's just having so much fun. And it's just kind of exciting to see her know herself and learn herself outside of her family, outside of her culture, but also sharing her culture with the rest of the world. So that's really cool, I think. But I mean, it's not all perfect. I mean, she has a lot of struggles in this season. The first one I want to talk about is just being a woman in 1960 and having to try to be taken seriously is her struggle. She's got this weird on-off thing with Joel, okay? Part of me is like a little frustrated with how she handles the situations, like because like they have these moments where they hook up and then they don't. I mean, they were married, so like the attraction is not going to go anywhere, or at least for them anyway, because I do know some married couples who just like hate each other. But it seems in the show that it's not really over, right? And Midge kind of gives little opportunities to Joel to kind of like apologize again and make it right. But then Joel reminds her, like, you wanted this. You were the one who didn't want me back. You were the one who said you wanted to go on the road. So don't ask me trick ass questions as if I'm supposed to come back and beg for you a second, third, fifth time, which he is. Anyway, they have like a really on and off thing. Personally, I feel that they will end up together. I don't feel like their relationship is completely over yet. But also there's this situation with the doctor, Benjamin, right? So honestly, he was a catch. He was a catch. He had money. He bought a townhouse. He was finna propose. And she bounced. And she didn't even really ask how he felt about anything about her going on the road. She just assumes and made her own decisions. We don't see a lot of him in this season, but he does come into play at the end. And her mother is involved somehow. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Something tells me that that door is not quite closed either. Now, we have a third door with Lenny Bruce, who I just realized is actually a real comedian. Apparently opened up doors for comedians of today to really be able to use the stage as free speech and really not be ridiculed and penalized or arrested for the jokes that they're making. So I had no idea about that, and if you didn't, then I hope you learned something new today on my review as well. There's kind of like a little something there, and I think the audience wants something to happen with Lenny because they just have this flirty relationship where something could happen, and Midge is just not dipping her toe in that water. She could, but she's not. And you can't help but wonder if she did, and if she did, would it be better than the situation with Benjamin? Would it be better going back with Joel? Who knows? Meanwhile, let's talk about Joe for a second. Joel clearly has a type because his love interest in this series is also Asian, which he cheated on Midge with an Asian woman. So that's his thing, which is cool. We're in the progressive 60s, right? Joel is going through his own thing because he's trying to open up this club and he's really just having a hard time. He has his own struggles that he's trying to work through, but he has like a masculine ego issue. He's trying to find out what he's capable of, right? Because he's always surrounded by these extremely vivacious, like awesome women who really can help him get to where he wants to be, but he's in a place of wanting to be able to do it himself because he wants to find out what he's worth. So I feel like I know a lot of men who are like that. But honestly, brother, like, listen, any man who has gotten anywhere to a point of success did not get there without a bomb-ass woman by their side. So I'm just leaving that right there. At this point, Susie's career is really taking off. I mean, Susie's finally kind of making it as a manager, and not really like a joke. She's learning a lot, but she's also doing a lot to make sure her clients, Midge, is in the best position possible, but also realizes she needs to eat. So she decides to take on Sophie Lennon, who is a complete nightmare. And in managing Sophie, she really learns more about the business, more about management, and dealing with talent. Then we have Midge's parents. Midge's parents, Abe and Rose, are going through a really interesting time in their life. I feel like no matter where you are at any time of year it is, once you get to that post-parental phase where you're a grandparent and you're trying to find out who you are in your senior years, that's an interesting life shift that I think a lot of people really struggle with. That's why it's called midlife crisis, right? So Abe goes through his midlife crisis because he decides to leave Columbia and he just really uproots his and Rose's world and his grandchildren and Midge's world. But they don't really care about Midge too much because she's on the road. So they're just kind of like, okay, you left us, so I guess you don't even care about us. So why should we care about you? So they just go through a really interesting time. It forces Rose into a certain level of independence that she never felt like she would need to go to, and admits that she never wanted to and blames that on her daughter. It is kind of cool though, seeing Rose just realize, okay, clearly my husband is on some other shit. It's time for me to make my own decisions, because if I leave it up to him, we're gonna be down in the alley, down the way, homeless and stressed the fuck out. So I can't deal with this. Let me see what moves I can make. And it's unfortunate that even with all that, and even with her coming into this space of mild independence, she still doesn't support Midge in what she does, and that's kind of annoying and frustrating to see. And they have this really great interaction in the final episode. Not going to ruin it, you're going to have to watch it, but they have a great conversation where they just really have it out and just really tell each other how they really feel. And I'm not going to lie, Rose had the last word. She was like, if you don't excuse me, I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. And he was kind of like, all right, well, period. I want to talk about the theme of race at this time because it is 1960s, right? And the majority of it is, I believe, in the North, but they do go to the South for a little bit, which Midge kind of has a little bit of a wake-up call that not everybody is treated as well as she in the South. It's not a huge theme, the subject of race, but it is there. It is there, especially because she's on tour with a Black group. But, you know, she gets to see those differences where she's staying at a nicer hotel and they don't get to stay at the same hotel, or the differences when she performs at the Apollo and how she's treated there, and you know, those kind of things going on that she's really learning about. She never really seems fazed by it. She kind of takes it in, but she's never like, oh, that sucks. In my personal opinion. Now, I want to talk about the ending a little bit because I really feel like it was fucked up. I feel like Midge killed it at the Apollo, and Shy's manager just really threw Susie and Midge a curveball, and it was mad disrespectful. I don't want to ruin it because you need to see what happens. It just shows you that showbiz is dirty and it's ugly and nobody's playing fair. It does leave you with a cliffhanger because it's kind of like a WTF moment, like what now? You really have to see, how will Midge and Susie come out of this? How are they going to make themselves stronger, and how are they going to survive this? So if you are looking for a new show, check it out. I love it. I really feel like I embody a little bit of Midge. Let me know if you think that's false. But watch it and let me know what you think. Bye.
Check out this video, that video, or go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.